that all members have 5 legislative days in which to revise and extend their remarks and include extraneous materials on the subject of the special order.
Without objection.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Today I rise to speak on an issue that is just now beginning to gain momentum and traction, but already is bringing great alarm and concern, as well as focus on an issue of great importance. I speak specifically in regard to the Obama administration's apparent decision to sacrifice the opportunity to take down Hezbollah and bring terrorists to justice. Most Americans, what they know about Hezbollah is that it's an Iran-backed proxy militia based in Lebanon, which was responsible for a string of terrorist attacks against Americans in the 1980s, including the attack in 1983 of the Beirut barracks, which killed 241 American service members. But since that time, Hezbollah has openly attacked Israel. They've propped up regimes supported by Iran, like Bashar al-Assad in Syria. They are defined by their violence and human rights abuses. But what most Americans are not aware of, Mr. Speaker, is that over the last 30 years, Hezbollah has evolved beyond its origins as Iran's attack dog in the Middle East, and they now run one of the world's most expansive and dangerous multinational criminal networks in the world. Hezbollah works directly with corrupt governments like Venezuela and others to create criminal networks across Latin America, Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. They have literally moved tons, metric tons of cocaine across the world, laundering money, trafficking weapons and individuals. They are a critical part of a network responsible for the use of IEDs in the Middle East, which have killed literally thousands of American soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan. Hezbollah, Mr. Speaker, is a scourge not only in the Middle East, but throughout the entire world. And the reason we know this, which is just in recent days started to become public, is because in 2008, the DEA launched a campaign known as Project Cassandra, which amassed evidence over 8 years of investigation regarding Hezbollah's criminal activities. They used wiretaps, undercover operations, informants, and so forth to map Hezbollah's illicit networks with the help of some 30 different U.S. and foreign security agencies. These DEA agents traced the activities all the way to the inner circles of Hezbollah and its state sponsors in Iran. But, and here's where all of this starts coming into play, when the time came to extradite and prosecute these terrorists, the Obama administration's Department of Justice and Department of State refused to move forward. That is unthinkable to me. It's unthinkable to many people in our country. The Justice Department refused to file criminal charges against suspects that were already in custody in Europe. The State Department refused to put meaningful pressure on allied countries to extradite Hezbollah leaders to the United States. And why? Why did they refuse to get involved? Well, according to an Obama administration Treasury official, in her written testimony to the House Foreign Affairs Committee, investigations to Hezbollah were tamped down, rocking the boat with Iran and jeopardizing the nuclear deal. The nuclear deal, which already deeply, deeply flawed in so many ways, the Iran nuclear deal apparently took precedence over crippling a foreign terrorist organization directly responsible for the deaths of American citizens and one of the world's largest drug and weapons trafficking networks. Hezbollah is responsible for procuring parts for Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile program, the very program that the nuclear deal was supposed to curtail. Hezbollah supplying parts to them. Instead of prosecuting the leadership of Hezbollah and shutting down Iran's weapons pipeline, the Obama administration legitimized Iran's nuclear program and let Hezbollah leadership slip through the cracks and let them totally off the hook. After conclusion of the Iran nuclear deal, the Obama administration shut down Project Cassandra. We lost all that we had gained in 8 years of investigations. All the information, we had them in our grasp, Mr. Speaker, after 8 years of investigation, and we lost unprecedented insight into these global criminal networks. Mr. Speaker, this is morally reprehensible. It is stunning that we have an administration, had our previous administration, and that administration's Justice Department and State Department evidently involved, engaged deliberately in letting these criminals off the hook. How in the world can our allies in the global war on terror trust us when we won't prosecute terrorists when we have the chance to do so? How can our allies in Latin America trust us when we refuse to prosecute leaders of one of the world's largest drug trafficking networks? I have a few colleagues here tonight that are going to address this issue as well. Before I introduce the first one, I want to bring up one more point. Ali Fayyad is a suspected leader in Hezbollah. He's an operative and a major weapons supplier. He's been indicted on charges of planning the murders of U.S. citizens, attempting to provide material support to a terrorist organization, and attempting to acquire, transfer, and use anti-aircraft missiles. For nearly 2 years, this terrorist was held in custody in the Czech Republic. For 2 years, the Obama administration failed to provide enough pressure to the Czech Republic and our NATO ally. The Obama administration refused to put pressure to extradite that terrorist to the United States. Ali Fayyad now, as we speak here tonight, is a free man and alleged to be back in the business of arming militants in Syria. This is inexcusable. Mr. Speaker, I want to personally say thank you to those who served on Project Cassandra. I want to thank them for their service to our nation, for the work that they did. I want them to know that it mattered what they did. I'm appalled that the Obama administration did virtually nothing to stop Hezbollah's criminal activities. And I think this warrants an investigation by the U.S. House of Representatives, and that's what this special order tonight is all about. Getting to the bottom of what is yet another example of a swamp that stinks to high heaven, that needs to be cleaned up and drained out. We need an investigation into what happened in the Obama administration, the Department of Justice, and the Department of State, allowing these terrorists and this terrorist network to get off the hook. I want to begin tonight by introducing a good friend from Arizona, Mr. Biggs. He has been a leader in issues such as this, bringing to our attention both the highlighting of dangerous, harmful activities such as this tonight. He's been a great champion, and I yield to the gentleman, Mr. Biggs from Arizona.